Wilder versus Fury, part 3? Is this part 3? I thought this was the rematch. I know that it's a rematch to some degree, but is it the rematch of a rematch? I'll tell you why I asked. Tyson Fury said, I beat Deontay Wilder twice. But Tyson Fury, right, you never know what he's saying. Is he saying they fought? Did they fight in the amateurs and I don't know about it? Did they fight in the pros that I don't know about? I only know about their last fight. Or, and this is highly possible, in fact, even the one I suspect, is Fury saying, I beat him twice in the last fight. Right, you know how a fighter can do that sometimes? Oh, I beat him so bad, and then I came back and beat him again, and he was saved by the belt. I don't know. I would like to know if this is the rematch of the rematch, if anybody knows, but I was over at DraftKings, because this is a very interesting fight for me. And I am fairly confident that Fury's going to win. But where does that confidence come from? DraftKings right now has Fury as a 3-1 favorite. That's a pretty wide spread in my opinion. That is worthy of a few bucks on Wilder. Now, their last fight, Fury beat his ass. But Fury got his ass beat. And I feel as though people are forgetting how that match went. And there's a couple of knocks on Wilder going in. First off, it's just the size. Wilder is a very big and a very good-looking heavyweight. He looks like an athlete while being a heavyweight, but Fury's got to cut to make the weight class. Fury is a monster. So Fury comes in with that advantage, which generally makes a guy slower. Fury is not only the biggest heavyweight out there, he's the best conditioned. Fury is coming at you. Okay, but this is what it is. And when you do look at Wilder, there is some real sloppiness in his sweet science skills. In all fairness, he's got some natural power that he was born with. And if he didn't have that, you don't know what his name is right now. He is not a pure boxer. Don't have to be. I'm not putting him down. He's got a way to go. The question becomes, in many ways, not only what's going to be different than the last fight, what is your motivation and why are we here? What a guy's motivation is, and to know that ahead of time, first off, is rare. But second off, is extremely helpful. So let's break this down, okay? While Fury was successful in stopping Wilder in their last fight, Wilder's corner threw the towel in. Wilder got in the locker room, tuned to his 4 cornermen, says, which one of you threw the towel in, and fired him on the spot. And the guy grabbed his bag and walked out of the locker room, the facility, and Deontay Wilder's life. The only guy that he should not have fired was the guy who looked out for his safety, but I'm telling you the story. This is how this happened, okay? And I'm going somewhere with this. If you want to go to dkng.co/Sonnen, you can get these odds, and they're just a little bit better than 3-1. But you got to go there and you got to do it now. Where am I going? What's my point? Here. When that fight ends, Deontay Wilder had possibly the strangest excuse I have ever heard. His excuse was fatigue of his legs. The culprit for the fatigue was an outfit, a metal armor outfit that he walked to the ring in. He said, I never put that thing on. That sumbitch was so heavy, I couldn't feel my legs the rest of the night. Now, while you guys are going to laugh at him and tease him, I believe it. That happened to me. I swear to goodness, this can be a real thing. And we can tease him for putting on that stupid suit. We can tease him for owning that stupid suit. The guy that should be fired in the back is the one that handed him that stupid suit. But that's not what we're discussing right now. Could have his legs been absolutely fatigued? And if you can't move, if you have dead legs in boxing, your legs are more important than your hands. That is not a literal statement, but it's goddamn close. You've got to be able to move to get into the target, but for all of your defensive work, you have to be able to move. So my legs were too heavy. Guys, listen to what happened to me. I was going to fight with a guy named Paulo Filo. I have to go cut weight for the fight. My cornerman tells me there's a sauna, and he tells me he's already been to it and it's piping hot. And I get over there relatively late. It's not that I don't have time, but I have just enough time. So I get over there late. He'd lied. He had never been there. The sauna wasn't hot. I know that because once we got there, the sauna did not exist. He thought there was a sauna, and so he was just confident. Come on, hey, I know where the sauna is, right over here. As a matter of fact, I just left it. Oh, I got it hot for us. It's ready for you to go. There was no sauna. So he's busted. And I am now in an air-conditioned room that has one piece of equipment, and it's a Stairmaster. Now, a Stairmaster is a perfectly fine piece of exercise. It's not what a professional athlete would do. The relevance to that is I'm now doing an exercise that I'm not used to, and I have no choice. And I'm doing it as hard and fast as I can because I got to get this weight off, and I got to get back to the venue to get to the scale. So I do an exercise that my body is not used to, which did what? Exhausted my legs. I woke up the next morning, I couldn't move. I had pain going down my hamstrings, and I knew what it was from. Anytime, even if you're an athlete that takes athletics very seriously, if you do a new exercise that you're not used to, you are going to feel it for a number of days. You will be as sore as can be. Sometimes it's hard to find a new exercise because between strength and conditioning and the sport that you're doing itself and the hobbies and in between, you generally work your whole body. I will tell you, I did not do stairs. I did not do stair steppers. So I was fried. And I only bring that because I know when Deontay made that claim, I just had a flashback to when that happened to me, and it can be real. And whether you want to accept it or not, we can at least accept that Deontay Wilder believes it, and that's relevant. Because while you probably remember how that fight ended, which was he was getting beat so bad that his own team said stop. You've probably also forgotten what had happened up until that point. Deontay Wilder was 1 second away from knocking Fury out. The ref got to 9. When Fury did the Undertaker move and popped up to his feet, I understand that Fury was fine. I understand that he was being a showman. I understand he wanted to do the Undertaker move. And you understand why he's a genius. It worked. It was beautiful. We only remember 2 things of the fight. We don't remember him getting knocked down. We remember him getting up. Who's another fighter you could say that about? None. In the history of boxing or MMA, you don't remember how a guy got up. You remember who knocked his ass down, except for Tyson Fury, because he is a step ahead. Either way, officially, he was 1 second from being out. So that was a back and forth fight. And Deontay Wilder did largely show us and support my thesis, which is he's not a very good boxer. But he's super powerful, and he's an incredibly effective boxer. What would you rather be? Would you rather be really good at something or really effective? You'd rather be effective. So I'm not putting Wilder down. No way. Okay, how much of this is real? How much is your attempt to put a hole in a boat as you move on with your career? Well, all of it was real, at least to Deontay. And how do we know that? Because Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury, which would have been the biggest boxing fight of the last decade, gets signed, and Deontay Wilder steps in and sues. He goes to an arbitrator and he sues and says, go read my contract. I have an automatic rematch clause. I am exercising that clause. The arbitrator ruled in Wilder's favor. So Bob Arum, who has a chance to just pay this thing off, allegedly came in with $8 million. Deontay Wilder, stay home. I will send you $8 million. 8 million reasons to let this fight happen, and then you can still have the fight. You just got to wait one. And Wilder said, no, I don't want the money. That's where things now change. If you're going to take me up in this and you're going to go to dkng.co/Sonnen, you need to rehear the story I just told you. Not only did Wilder put Fury down and was 1 second away from being the victor, not only did he disagree with the stoppage to the fact of sincerity that he fired that cornerman and has not spoke to him since. Not only does he believe the only reason that he lost is because his legs were tired because he wore a 40-pound suit in the ring that he never had on before, but he is not willing to take $8 million to tell his story somewhere else. He wants to compete. He wants to fight. That's a very interesting story from a very dangerous man who wants this more than he wants the paycheck. When's the last time you could say that about a boxer? Any one of them. He's not here for the money. He does not like the way this story was told, and he knows he can beat that man. Is he right? That's between those two. I think Fury beats him. I don't think Fury was hurt near as bad as he played. I think he wanted to sit up like The Undertaker. I think Fury's got that pressure. I think Fury's coming forward. There's also been times in Fury's career where I'm not positive that he trained for a fight, and he seems not only confident, he seems overly confident. I don't know that Fury himself remembers that entire last contest. I think he only remembers how it ended. And I think that's what the bettors are doing. I think that's what DraftKings is doing. I think you should go to dkng.co/Sonnen, get you a couple of bucks on Wilder. I'm picking Fury, by the way. I'm telling you to take this action because the spread's so goddamn good, you can't look away from it. If you're a handicapper and you look away from 3-1 odds, come on. You've got to give a good look at that. So I'll enjoy the fight. It's going to be Saturday, and I will recap it for you next week.